Alright, so this evening I've got some work to do in one of the bathrooms. As I've talked about this before, owning a home isn't all sunshine and rainbows. Sometimes there's things that happen. And today I gotta work on one of the toilets because it's leaking water. So we're gonna work on that today. We're actually gonna replace the gasket, and the part that's actually leaking are the screws that hold the tank to the base of the toilet. So we're gonna replace those. While we're at it, we're just gonna go ahead and replace this rubber seal, and hopefully it'll fix the leaking. Alright, so forgive me for the bad lighting in here and the weird acoustics because we're in a small bathroom. It's a little half bath upstairs in our house. But this is where we're working. So this is a toilet that's having problems. I want to start with showing you where it's leaking. Then I'll go over specifically what's in the little repair kit that I bought, and then we'll get started.
All right, so this is kind of on the bottom, close to where your water hooks up, which is right here. And this bolt that goes through the tank and into the base, this is actually what's leaking. A couple days ago, I turned the water off and started draining the tank, and for the most part, it's pretty much empty. So in here, you can actually see where they've caulked around this or something at some point. It's just this buildup of, rust and nasty. So I'm gonna work on getting that stuff taken apart, and then this tank, we ought to be able to lift it up out of here. So I'm gonna work on make sure everything's disconnected, see if I can't get the bolts off the bottom of these. They're a little rusted, so I'm a little concerned I'm gonna have a hard time getting it to break loose. But if we can get that off, then the tank should just lift up out of here.
Alright, so I tried to get a good shot of it, but I wasn't able to really get down underneath while getting this out. But this is the bolt that I actually took out. You can see there's a lot built up on the top here. And I can't tell if this is just corrosion from a washer or the bolt or what exactly it is. But anyways, this is what we got off. I'm still gonna take the other side off, and then we'll get the tank slid up and out of the way and see what we're working with. Finally got the second one out. That one, even though this one wasn't the one leaking, was actually a lot harder to get out. But nothing, little liquid encouragement and a set of vice grips couldn't take care of. So got that one off, and we should be just about ready to take the tank completely off. But first, we actually need to get this in here cleaned out. And so there's a lot of, metal and just buildup. And I don't know if that's calcium or some kind of sealant or something that's built up around these, but we want to make sure we get a good clean seal. So I'm going to clean this stuff off. I've got a flat tip screwdriver to just kind of lightly brush it and clean it. And we'll get all this nasty mess out of here. And then we'll take the tank off and see if we can get the new seals and stuff in here. Alright, now that I got the tank off and set down and the bolts and everything out, I'm going to get this old gasket off of here. And I wager this has been on here for about 20 years. Alright, easy enough. Alright, here I've got our new gasket here. This is commonly referred to as a sponge gasket, I believe. And we're just gonna fit it up over the tube here. Make sure you get it seated all the way around. Just want to check and make sure it's not pinched anywhere. that's pretty much that. And so we're ready to go ahead and start putting it back together. Now, one thing I would advise if you're taking the time to take everything apart is, if you haven't before already, it might be worth going ahead and changing the internals while you've got it already apart. That way you don't have to drain it again later. And changing the floats and stuff out in these are pretty easy as well. Alright, so about ready to start putting in my bolts, which I noticed that these bolts are actually quite a bit bigger than the old ones, which they should be fine. The holes are much bigger than what those old bolts were, but the directions for this particular kit have you putting the washers on, and the washers are slightly beveled, and so you want the broader side up on these according to the directions. So you're going to put rubber washer on the bolt in, and then for mine, you're going to put a rubber washer on the bottom, metal washer, and then the nut. Now some of these actually have another step where you put put basically a second washer and stuff in the middle, and my understanding is it's to stabilize the tank, but mine was not like that before, so I'm not going to follow that step when putting it back together. We'll see how it goes. One additional thing to note is that when you're tightening this down, don't over tighten it. If you do, you have a tendency, or these have a tendency to crack. So make sure when you're tightening this, you don't want to go much more than finger tight, because all you're really trying to do is get this snug and stable so that it can't rock as it is now. And make sure you kind of tighten it evenly on both sides so that, again, you get good even pressure to make the seal in here, that sponge gasket, seal like it's supposed to, and to make sure that this thing is stable and doesn't cause you any issues. Alright, we got it back together. Went ahead and got my water lines hooked up over here. The lighting on this side's actually a little better, so maybe I should have shot from here, but hopefully this is still helpful. As you can tell, this is just a slight bit of play in it, but everything's good and snug. We're about to turn the water back on and then check for leaks, make sure that we don't have any issues. And if everything checks out, then we're good. Alright, well, good news is everything that we worked on is put back together. Looks good, works good. But as is typical, anytime I feel like, I actually found that my shutoff valve is not working properly at the wall. So now I get to go and replace that. Yay, home ownership. And I say that joking. I'm very grateful to have what I have. Alright, and with that, we're gonna call it quits for the night. I'll replace that valve, and I may try to get a video of that as well. Heck, I might even tack it onto this video if I haven't finished editing by then. And yeah, we're gonna get cleaned up and trying to keep quiet because the kids have gone to bed finally, so don't want to wake them up. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.